Hello, community. Welcome to a new video, a new type of video where basically we're just going to be talking about things. We're going to be talking about Hitman. We're going to be talking about other games as well. Again, of course, this being a Hitman channel, I'll try to include Hitman always as the first and foremost. But the first thing we have to talk about, we're going to start with Hitman, of course, is should Freelancer have restarts? Now, as you know, I did a poll on my channel, and it was a couple of days ago, I believe 4 days ago. As of this moment, it has 3,200 votes. Yeah, I believe it's 65% yes and 35% no. So it is a bit up in the air. However, even though most of the people have voted yes, clearly, if you actually were to look through the comments, and there's like, I think 140 comments, so it's quite a bit, it is a bit overwhelming. But it's overwhelmingly no in the comments. So it seems that even though most people want to see restarts being added to Freelancer, also the people who don't really are passionate about not having restarts. They're really opinionated about it. They feel very strongly about it. So that's clearly a very real thing. Now, for me personally, I think we should have restarts, but I think it should be in a bit of a gimmicky way. So let me explain. Maybe we can do it in one of those ways where you get like 2 to 3 restarts per 24 hours or whatever. And that way it's like a get out of jail free card, but you only get 1 or 2 of them per 24 hours. Therefore, it's not like you can just spam it. So still like you gotta somewhat think about when you want to use your restarts. You know what I mean? I think that's some a way that you can add restarts, but still not take away the edge of the game mode and still make you sort of think about all the things you do. Of course, another way you can do it is to have it cost mercies to restart. It can cost like 2,000 mercies and then the second time double that or whatever. Or it's a consistent one throughout. That's another way you can do restarts. You just pay with mercies for it. There's multiple different ways. If you really look at the problem of having restarts in Freelancer, I think you can solve that problem with not too much difficulty overall. I think it's not that difficult of a problem. I think you can add restarts and still have the game be on edge, still have the game be, difficult and require a lot of thinking. But just do it in a more creative fashion. Do it in a fashion that, it's important to think about whether it's worth restarting or not. Also, you can let me know how you feel in the comments below when it comes to restarts, because the fact of the matter is a lot of people say, oh, it's a roguelike game mode, it doesn't need it. It's like blah, 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 fuck off. Like, listen, this is a fucking video game, okay? This is not a job. It shouldn't be treated as a job. You shouldn't have to grind your fucking ass off to be able to just fucking exist in this fucking game mode. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of the players who are on the lower levels, who are not as great in the game overall in terms of skill, are struggling, and they're struggling really fucking hard. So just giving them something, I feel like it doesn't even have to be that much, like just free restarts for everybody, like free blowjobs for everybody. No, you gotta pay for it, like in the real world, you gotta pay for that shit. And because of that, I feel like it will sort of alleviate a bit of the pressure. It will give them a little bit of an easier time. And overall, there's always also the extreme of that. There's always the hardcore mode. There's always hardcore mode. You can always go there if you really want to grind, if you really want to be like as good as it gets. But I feel overall for the players who are struggling, our start isn't the end of the world. It's really not. And if you're smart about it, I'm pretty sure you can have restarts and you can still have a game mode that is difficult, that is tricky, that is not something you can just breeze through like it's nothing. So overall, of course, I'm sure. Let me know what you think in the comments below. How do you think this issue should be resolved? Because I do think it's a real issue. Now, of course, IO doesn't really need to do anything because let's face it, Hitman is already sort of at the end of its lifespan at this point. It's one of those things where they're already moving on. They've been extremely radio silent. We'll talk about it in the next video I'm gonna make of this type. About they're completely radio silent. There's no information what's going on about all these suits that haven't been released and all this content that's up in the air. So that is something to discuss as well. But overall, when it comes to the issues of restarts, I do believe that it's something that isn't too difficult to get right, but it definitely needs to get right. Now, if you were just here for Hitman, I believe this is all. However, if you saw the Suicide Squad trailer and you're sort of wondering about what the fuck is going on over there, that is something we can talk about right now because it's kind of weird. The Suicide Squad trailer, it was a huge trailer up to this point. They were pretty much completely radio silent. All the trailers have been very minimum at best. It's funny, the game's coming out in like just a couple of months and there was literally zero information previous to this trailer. But it comes out and immediately you get controversy. I mean, just right off the bat, people are just losing their minds for two main reasons. First of all, is always online, which is kind of funny for the Hitman guy to talk about always online because let's face it, Hitman is always online. Now, Hitman doesn't have any reason to be always online. There's no multiplayer, there's no co-op. It's just basically an anti-pirating technique from IO to prevent any pirating, to prevent you from basically being able to play the game to the full extent if you don't buy it. However, for this game, there will be online, there will be multiplayer, and so it does make sense to a certain extent, but at the same time, a lot of people are cross about it. And I understand that, I get it. People can be cross about those types of things. But at the same time, there's another thing, which in my opinion is a bigger thing, and that's the battle passes. Now, for anybody not familiar with battle passes and how they work, my knowledge is also very limited from Valorant. From the days I used to play that game, I remember that game had battle passes. And the way it works is basically you can purchase the battle pass, but you don't immediately get all the rewards for it. You have to sort of grind it out with XP. And I'm 99% sure that's what they're gonna do in this game as well. They're gonna basically release a battle pass, and you have to get through it with XP. You gotta basically play through to get the rewards from it. And if you bought the battle pass, you're gonna get everything. And if you didn't, you're only gonna get the small things. Now, obviously, that's a huge problem because they said it's only cosmetical, but I mean, come on, everybody knows that that's the best part. I mean, what you really want is the cool cosmetics, the cool skins, the skins that make your character look badass. I promise you, we're probably gonna get. I think we're gonna get the classic skins as a pre-order bonus, and then we're gonna get maybe like two alternative costumes max. I think what the costumes you saw, those are the alternative costumes. This is what we're gonna get, and then anything outside of that, all the actually like really cool costumes, really costumes that a lot of time and effort went into them is gonna be paid. Which again, a lot of people are against it, completely understandable. Another problem is the gameplay. I don't know if anybody has seen the Avengers gameplay or Sunset Overdrive, but it looked like a sort of a child between the two of them. It wasn't anything to really lose your mind over. It looked very much like there's very little variety. You're just sort of gonna be going around, jumping around, shooting at things. There's some melee, but I think it's just takedowns. I didn't see too much of it. It's one of those things where the game looks kind of generic. It doesn't look revolutionary in any way. Like, did anybody look at that trailer and go, wow, I've never seen that before. Wow, this is like, no other game has ever done this. No other game has ever, like, to this extent, done such a good job at this. It's one of those things where it just feels like such a huge copycat of the Avengers. It's insane. I mean, from all the things they could have stolen from Marvel, they had Marvel Spider-Man. They could have done a version of that for Batman or another character. They had Avengers and they went with Avengers. I mean, it's like it's mind-boggling and two games, Gotham Knights as well. It's like two games decided no, we're not gonna do a good single-player story-focused game with a living city that really does well with the character. No, we're gonna add a bunch of characters together and we're gonna go down this fucking hole. And it's insane. I think it's fucking crazy. And Gotham Knights, I mean, good lord, if you look at the Steam charts right now, it's like 500 players right now, and the game came out like late October. So just in a couple of months, this game has fallen to like 500 players. Like I can imagine by 2 months from now, 3 months from now, once the Suicide Squad releases, they're gonna be looking at anywhere from like 200, 300 players max. It's a sad state of affair. And also, the two founders, Seft and Hill being one of them, left the studio. That's like working your entire life to build a YouTube channel, and then as soon as you hit 1 million, you leave it to another guy. It doesn't make any sense. Obviously, there's something there. Nobody just leaves their studio, their life's work, just like that. Clearly, there's problems there. Clearly, there's something that wasn't working out. Don't take this the wrong way either. I'm not cheating on the game. I'm not saying the game's gonna suck or anything like that. But I've got a bad feeling about it. And that is like the God honest truth. I have a really bad feeling about it. And I think a lot of people can sort of attest to that. And it's a really shame because I can't remember a time where gamers together have had a bad feeling about a game, and then the game has come out and it's completely just blown us away, and it's been like, oh wow, this has been so revolutionary. It's actually been the opposite. If you look at Cyberpunk, if you look at Fallout 76, I mean, you name it, there's so many games at this point where it's like, even when there's been extreme hype, it's fallen flatter than 4 o'clock. So, I don't know, this game, from the combat, I didn't see anything to really lose your mind over. It seemed like a copycat of so many other games, from Avengers, like I already said, to Anthem, to just Sunset Overdrive. Nothing whatsoever to really grab me away, to pull me away. We'll see the story. I'm sure the story will at least be decent. Kevin Conroy's final performance, I hope just for that, just for Kevin, they're able to pull out a fucking good story. Like, if nothing else, at least for that. But yeah, overall, my feelings are very mixed on this game. I'll definitely be getting it. I'll definitely be playing it. But is it gonna be really the game that we were looking for? Is it gonna be the game that we're really gonna be like, wow, this is a great game that we can be playing for years to come? As of right now, I don't think it is, sadly. That's my thoughts on the matter. You can let me know what you think, of course, in the comments below, and I will do my best to also reply. Have a conversation. Some people have asked me for Discord and things like that, but I don't really do that. That's not the way I roll. So, I think this is just a better way to do it. Just a nice sort of chill chat about things, what's going on in the world of Hitman, in the world of gaming. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe for more content. Well, if you're watching, you're probably subscribed, but so thank you very much for that. Drop a like if you enjoyed, and thank you very much for watching.